Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, farbs, and nerds, to Roast Your Kits Season Finale, Episode 15. We've got an incredibly special one today, and one that is unlike any one that we've done recently. Not only is it a retro theme, but we've got some other special parts that you'll have to see to find out. And while I did say it was a season finale, stay tuned because we're gonna have a special bonus episode coming out a lot sooner than you think. And for all those video game kit lovers out there, you're gonna wanna stick around during this episode because it's a season finale. I have to do something special for you. You're a different kind of nerd and you deserve some spotlight too. Without further ado, let's jump right into our 10th place spot with 25 votes coming from Kurt. Kurt put together a 1980s 7th Infantry Division loadout, one that is very popular with especially a lot of reenactors around me. So this is nothing that I'm not familiar with, but let's of course give him the credit where credit is due. He put together a pretty good looking kit. He's rocking original BDUs, which he mentioned that the top is the third pattern one, which should be a second pattern. And of course, if you guys are curious about that, go check out one of the videos I posted talking about all of the differences, but it's not bad from like 20 feet away. You can't really tell. But up close, I would definitely encourage you to find one of those second pattern ones. I have quite a collection of them and you'll see them coming up in this month, so stay tuned for that. But you're also rocking some locally made jungle boots. That's something interesting to me. I have zero idea what you mean by locally made jungle boots. Is that something that was done down in the South American countries during the 80s when the US was a little happy with that? I don't know, let me know in the comments below. You're rocking an M16A2 with a silent sling, Pasget helmet with the signature rag top. Really nice. We like the ragtop stuff around here. And if you want to see some guides on what kind of units did that and how to do it yourself in a couple different forms, let me know because I have some ideas brewing. Beyond that, you're also rocking a Pasget vest and an Alice Ruck with a tie repro of an M1961 butt pack on picks 1, 4, and 5. Okay, so my assumption is this is actually in Thailand. I'm not sure where you're a reenactor from, but I respect the kit that you put together, especially if you live not in the US. You have a dummy M9 bayonet. The repro M9s from Indonesia don't fit. So maybe I don't know, but your social media is greenjacket__IG. And Kurt, I really like what you put together. Looking at the photos, you kind of nailed the look. I'm sure there are little details and minor things here and there that you want to improve, especially like the jacket and things like that. But compared to all the pictures of light fighters that were down in those South American countries operating in the 80s, you did a good job, and I think you should be proud. Well deserving of a 10th place spot. The next kit comes from Blitzer, and his is a very retro kit going even earlier than the 80s one with an 8th Battalion Royal Australian Regiment kit from 1969 to 1970. So smack dab in that Vietnam War stuff, which you guys know I love around here. Let's quickly talk through everything that you've got before I get into my opinions, like the giggle hat, which is pretty iconic for the Aussies down in Vietnam, a sweat cloth, an M56 load-bearing equipment setup. You have an M56 large field pack. Australians were issued a larger pack, designed in Oz later on in the war to replace the old PO8/37 large packs and substitute the butt packs. You're rocking an Australian large green shirt and trousers, Australian GP boots, and an ENC M16A1. Now, being in the reenacting scene for Vietnam around the US, I'm no stranger to Australian kits. I've never done one myself, but I know a couple of people who have done them personally, and they're solid. I like them, they're cool. They, for some reason, don't hit the mark for me, but I can tell that you put in the work into this one. You have great pieces and your research and homework was done, so credit where credit is due. This is a solid 8 out of 10 for me, just because it's not my vibe, but I respect what you did. Only thing I would say from a reenactor perspective is ditch the low ready with the rifle. Our next one with 29 votes comes from Austin, and it's another foreign impression. When we defined retro, we said pre-2010, so this 2007 kit does fit the bill, and it is a Danish 2007 infantryman. His headgear is a Helm M96, which is a CGF Gallet with issued M84 pattern cover and NVG accessories. Your vest is a Danish fragmentation vest, which is like an M2000 flak with space for 4 Stanag mags. Pretty cool. Your LBE includes Danish Basis M96, which is a Danish variant of the PLCE in the M84 pattern. From left to right, you have a lot of equipment. I'm not going to read through everything. If guys wanted to check it out, go check it out in the Discord. Search his name up in the Roast Your Kit submissions, and you'll see all the details. But things like IFAKs, GP pouches, and more GP pouches, and canteen pouches, and a self-bought day pack, which for these kinds of kits, I love the self-bought things. Your uniform is an M01 LET warm weather uniform in M84, and I like the vibe. Danish stuff isn't my favorite. My favorite Danish thing ever is Lego, and this looks like a really cool kit. I love the C7 build that you got going on. And as always, with kits like this, you can tell you did your homework and research, and Austin, you did a nice job. Definitely deserving of making it into the top 10. And even though it's barely in the retro space, it definitely is still following the guidelines, so nice job overall. The next kit comes from someone called Tunnel Rat 1776. And there is an extensive kit list for this, but we're going to talk about his Lima Company 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines during the Battle of Baghdad in April 2003. He said his kit was done for the 250th Marine Corps Ball, and he actually met some of the veterans that were in that engagement, which is wicked cool. Definitely a dream come true for a reenactor to be able to talk to the guys who actually did the thing. And let's go through what he's got. He's rocking a DCU boonie with a cut-up shirt as a do-rag, cool detail, a DCU BDU blouse with Marine Corps name tapes, standard issue Marine Corps skibby shirt, boot band, socks, all that. His armor is the Interceptor body armor with a neck protector, a Pasget helmet and goggles with scrim and NVG mount. He's rocking a Molly 2 FLC vest with a bunch of pouches, like 3 Molly magazine pouches, 2 Alice canteen pouches, IFAKs, butt packs, and bandoliers, which I think those are a cool addition. You noted that not everyone did it, but a lot of the guys recommended adding it, which I respect. Definitely the combat load is more than just 6+1 in the gun, so the more ammo, the better. Your weapons you note as an M16A2 with an M7 bayonet and a K-bar, as well as an MRE spoon, and that is one of the most important weapons that any soldier, marine, airman, or sailor will ever use, I'm sure. And Tunnel Rat, I love these photos, especially with the reference photo that you dropped of that crazy face paint. If I'm being honest, it kind of looks like that grandpa who ate paint thinking it was yogurt, but it is accurate for the time period and one of the pictures that you were replicating, and you know what? It fits. It's really cool. You did a great job. And of course, having input and conversations with the veterans is always a huge plus in the reenacting sphere. This is a very clear 9.5 out of 10, just because I cannot get the image of the grandpa eating paint out of my head. Now we get to 6th place. This spot received 31 votes, and it came from someone who's no stranger to being featured on this channel, one that is fantastic in the kit builds that he does. And this comes from Sean Donowitz, and he built a late 1980s Afghan insurgent gunner loadout. You noted that you wanted this to be cheap yet effective, and truthfully, you fit that vibe perfectly. Topping it off with a Packle hat, black and white shamag, dark blue Sawal kameez from AliExpress, I don't know what that is, a Type 56 Chicom chest rig, Type 81 Chicom on the back. This is really, really interesting, and I would love to see reference photos of this in use. A British Pattern 58 combat rig, Helicon Tex Coyote combat pants, and an RPK and WE Browning high power pistol. And you always rock these bad guy loadouts so freaking well. For some reason, you put it together very well, and the equipment just looks like it fits. You see a lot of these bad guy impressions that are very clearly dudes that hop on the internet, copy their favorite movie, and do things with, I don't want to say a disrespectful take, but it's just not well done. And for some reason, actually, we know the reason, because you really put the thought and effort behind all the pieces that you collect. It looks good, and I respect that. So nice job. Feel like the dual chest rigs would make me feel like I'm rocking like one of those pool tubes around me. So not something that I would do, but I like it nonetheless, and I think it definitely deserves a solid 9 out of 10. Making it into the number 5 spot with 1 extra vote at 32 comes DPM Plug, and this is another Marine Corps kit. I actually had to do a little bit of researching to make sure this was legit, because I did not think Desert Marpat came around this early. Goes to show what I know about Marine Corps gear. But this is his Marine Corps Infantry Staff Sergeant in Fallujah 2004. Going top to bottom, you have a lightweight helmet Gen 1 with an NVG mount, a medium M81 IBA with sappy plates and soft armor, an Alice LC3 belt with mag pouches, canteen pouches, all of the basic kind of things, but with an M81 LBV vest, a Desert Marpat MCCU uniform, a mildly inaccurate M16A4, and hot weather Danner rat boots. And again, this does not strike me as old school retro. It even doesn't seem to fit before 2004, because I think the Marine Corps used this kind of equipment for so much longer after. And I don't know why. It doesn't fit that retro vibe, but it looks really good. And obviously, from all the work that you put into it, it seems fairly accurate from my uneducated stance. You've got a grizzled look in your photo, and it works. I'm gonna put this one at like a 6.5, maybe 7 out of 10, because I know it's an impression and I know it's done solidly, and the LBV is good touch there, but it's just not something that screams old school to me. No fault of your own. You did a nice job overall, DPM Plug. Thanks for sending it in. The 4th place spot had 32 votes, and this one is a 1975 to 1982 British infantryman loadout in West Germany from Jan Diggles. And this, similar to the last one, I feel like you could see with the British military, like maybe a decade or two ago, and it would still look the same. I don't know why, I don't know a lot about a lot of kits, but I have this image in my mind, and I feel like it's just been their ever-present loadout. Regardless, let's talk about what you got. You have a 1968 pattern combat smock and trousers with a green 70s KF shirt. DMS ankle boots with putties, a 1958 pattern webbing, also carrying an NBC kit. Nice touch there. A Mark IV helmet camouflaged with a net, which we really like, all of the danglies popping off. An Ares L1A1 SLR with an original sling and original rations, cookers, and that's what really makes the impression. While we can't see it too much here, it definitely adds to the overall vibe. And with that kind of detail, we know you put a lot of effort into the other details, and huge respect for that. We do actually have a photo of him eating the rations, and I love it. For some reason, this kind of looks like the Arvin BDQ. Maybe it's just the color palette or how faded it is, but I like this loadout overall. It's simple, definitely old school, kind of that 70s, 80s Euro vibe, and it works. So I respect it, I like it. Something I would run, maybe not. If I was going for that era, I'd go for something else. Stay tuned for that, but nice work overall. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 for that personal flavor alone. Okay, my friends, we have 3 kits left, which means we have a couple of things to talk about. Number 1, a whole bunch of honorable mentions. But let's first get to something else that I think is really important, and that's the special episode that's coming super soon. And by that, I mean you literally have 2 weeks to get your submissions in, but it's not everyone this time. This one is a very special episode with a very special guest. Someone that I've looked up to for years, and I think you guys will enjoy getting to hear his feedback on. This one is only Vietnam kits, and all the submissions are due by June 16th. Submissions lock and close because we're filming that right after, and it's gonna come out at the end of June. So that's right, you guys are lucky. You get back-to-back Roast Your Kit episodes, but this one is especially for the Vietnam reenactors. It can be any kit from any period in the war. Either side, doesn't matter, we wanna see it. So if you wanna get into the next episode, which is happening in June, so soon already, get your Vietnam kits in by June 16th. A lot of you guys didn't listen with this retro one, and I'm disappointed. I had to sift through so many extra submissions. Retro only meant retro only. This one, Vietnam only, so only Vietnam. Maybe you can guess what that guest is gonna be. But here are those honorable mentions, and these go to the gamers out there. I had 4 kits, all which received a solid amount of votes that were all based on video games, and they definitely deserved their own spot. It wasn't enough that I was gonna make a whole separate video, but this one goes out to you guys. And fair warning to you all, I know nothing about video games, with a couple minor exceptions, but let's check these out. The first comes from Tentacle Matt, which Patreon guy, so shout out to him. He received 27 votes, and he's got a, let's see, I don't even know what this is. HECU, a Heku kit, and this is a collaboration with a few other guys, including Beastie and Captain Spears is Alive in Palestine. I think they've both been on Roast Your Kit before. But let's just talk about Tentacle Matt, because he was the primary submitter. He's rocking a USGI Pazgit with an M81 cover and a whole bunch of different accessories, but the M40 gas mask with the green tinted outserts is really the iconic piece here. That's just terrifying to see, and it really elevates the loadout. Subdued Urban BDU with an HRM reproduction vest with IBA soft inserts, Alice gear, Mac pouches, M12 holster, compass pouch, canteen pouch, the whole 9, a Fulton crane neck flashlight, and USMC issued unisex gloves. Your bottom is Subdued Urban BDU pants, but my favorite detail is the US Postal Service contract mail carrier boots that are waterproof. Never thought those would ever end up in an impression, but here we are. Tentacle Matt, I think the gas mask is just what sells it to me, but the fact that you had multiple guys doing it together and you all look this good, props to you all, good work. The next comes from another fan favorite, Miller Gear, and Miller Gear put in a 1998 independent military contractor from Sierra Leone, and this is his Far Cry 90s mercenary kit. You're rocking a Norinco Type 56 assault rifle, Banana Republic short sleeve shirt, Budweiser FIFA World Cup t-shirt, Carhartt cargo pants, Ashford leather belt, French canvas rubber military boots, Gucci 1980 chrome sunglasses, Casio G-Shock, a Leisman classic leather holster, 1965 Type 56 Tricom chest rig, used as a bandolier, Tali's PRC 148, which was emulating the Motorola MX300R, a Nokia, and like, come on, dude, this is typical 90s bad guy in that tropical environment, and I can definitely see where Far Cry was going for this. I get what the game is sort of about, maybe, but I love this loadout as is. I think it's really freaking cool. Well deserving of the 32 votes. Almost reminds me of the opposite version of the 1990s Delta PSD loadout, where you're still kind of put together and you know what you're doing, and it's not like a typical mercenary that we could envision, but it's tropical, and we like that. The next kit comes from Kestrel, and this is his Modern Warfare 2 2009 loadout. I know Commando Store, shout out to those guys. Let's see if we can collab on something maybe. They put out a whole bunch of that red camo, and I guess this is the Russian stuff? Crazy, but I had never played those games. But let's talk about some of the stuff you've got. Up top, you have the Commando Store Modern Warfare 2 Speziiell Gorka, a Naked Mitch 2000, a Desert DPM Balaclava, a GP5, a Defender 2 low-profile vest. Although you know a Black Ranger body armor would be more accurate, but again, I can't tell, still looks cool. Condor Ronin split rig, and Blackhawk Solog gloves. You're rocking an LBT 3-day assault pack, although an Eagle Industries 3-day assault pack would be more accurate, the Alta knee pad, SWAT boots, and I totally see what they were going for this. 0% of this is Spetsnaz at all, but for Modern Warfare 2 guys, I guess it looks the part. I know so many people have such fond memories of that game, and unfortunately, while I'm not part of that, I still respect the loadout, and I think it looks pretty cool. And Kestrel's been known to put together some pretty wacky but good-looking kits, and I'd say this is no exception. Definitely deserving of the 33 votes he got. And the next one, I had to look this up, is a Gerlokovich Mercenary 2007 New York. This is from the Metal Gear series. And believe it or not, this one actually won the entire episode. I don't count it as an original real retro kit, but it is a kit from a video game and it had 50 frickin' votes. Keep in mind, we still have the top 3 to get to from the standard category, but this is something else. This, I feel like if you didn't tell me it was Gerlokovich Mercenary and just said it was 2007 Russian whatever, I would have believed it. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce many of these things. Just know that he's got a VFC AKS 74 UN, a Mountain TT SKO, Kurza boots, TSH 4M tanker helmet with the night vision goggles, which I think is my favorite part about this, an RD 5.4 dyed black with pouches removed, leather belts, grenade pouches, a bunch of CCP stuff, and an Instagram handle of Vortexy. And dude, this is beautiful. Again, if you didn't tell me, I would not know this was from a video game. Your photography absolutely elevates it, and while maybe a little outdated while the kit is a little outdated for 2007, it still looks really cool. Even though it's from a video game and one that I know nothing about, gets a 10 out of 10. Nice job, Vortexy. And now we get to the top 3 submissions for the season finale episode, all very well deserving. And number 3 comes with 35 votes from Speziiell, and this is his Iraq War impression, 2006 to 2008, which is non-unit specific. And that would be my first and really only critique for any of this. I would love to see this tailored towards a specific unit, because I feel like that would help you get a little bit more of the unit SOPs and maybe make it a little bit more authentic. But you've got a ton of great stuff here, so before I keep rambling and losing my breath, let's talk about it real quick. You've got an ACU uniform and a whole bunch of UCP gear, like your OTV and all of your standard rifleman pouches. Your Eagle Industries crossover pack and Blackhawk M9 drop leg holster are great, but what I really love is that M4A1 that you put together with that gooseneck optic mount. I love that thing, and I think that is beautiful, and that really is what makes this loadout one of my favorites, because it's such a unique and weird piece that you never see anymore. Speziiell, you put together a great loadout, and I'd love to see it tailored a little bit more to unit SOPs, so maybe doing that in the future would help elevate this a little bit more, but this is going to get a solid 8 out of 10 for me. Nice work overall. And you guys are not going to believe this one, but the second place winner is from a previous winner of Roast Your Kit, Nutch R75, but even more unbelievable is it's another Desert Marpat one. I'm going to try not to take too many points off because it doesn't fit that retro vibe, the one that I imposed the data on myself, so once again, really my own fault. But this is his 2008 United States Marine Corps RTO loadout, and you have a ton of Marine Corps stuff like the Frog uniform and Eagle Industries SPC with a groin protector. Nice touch. Fire Force and Eagle Industries pouches, a TCA 152, and a GHK M16A4 build. All very nice pieces. But what really takes the cake for me is that group photo and knowing that you guys do this in a Y-Milsim LARP event in Germany that's Afghanistan themed, and I love that. I would love to attend that. We don't have anything like that here in the US. Even Milsim West isn't really hitting this, and I love what you guys do. It is awesome. Can't wait to see more photos. Good work overall, Nutch R75. Because it's not that retro vibe that, again, I imposed upon myself, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, but you did flawless work otherwise. Good job. And now, without further ado, we have our first place winner of the season finale of Roast Your Kit, episode 15, although we'll have a bonus episode coming up soon. And this one comes from another fan favorite, one who's a personal friend of mine, and you guys definitely should check out if you haven't already. This comes from Op4 Airsoft. He's been to events all over and has done videos of a lot of them, including a Broken Arrow events that he came to, so check that one out if you haven't already. But this is his World War II Imperial Japanese Army impression. Tons of repro stuff, like the summer Type 98 trousers, Japanese tabi, headgear being an IJA field cap or Type 90 helmet, haversack, canteen, Type 38 belt equipment, or an original summer Type 98 tunic. And I can't imagine how hard those are to find. And the fact that you're wearing one, props to you. It fits in your loadout seamlessly. So that's probably saying something about the repro gear that you have. But what's really, really important to note, and especially special about this loadout, is all the foliage that you put on. All these impressions that don't really get into the feeling, get into the vibe, and get into the jungle with it. That's what makes a kit. That's what we need to see more of, and you nail it here, dude. Your NVA impressions, these IJA impressions, and all the like are all what make these stand out so much on the internet that you can see these, and I know, I'm like, oh, that's Op 4 Airsoft, but so many people get fooled because of them. You did a fantastic job, man, and I would love to see more like this. I'd love to see you again at Broken Arrow events because I'm, being selfish. I want to hang out, but you did great work, and I can't wait to see more. So with all that being said, Op 4 Airsoft definitely deserved that win, and while we have another Roast Your Kit coming out in June, it is Vietnam themed, so make sure you submit Vietnam themed loadouts in the same Discord, everything that I've had in episodes prior, so go check that out. This is The Gear Locker, and we'll see you guys in another one very soon.